As last visualization in this video, we're going to take a look of interactive visualization of a heat map together with some buttons where we can select some choices of color of the heat map or select adding lines to the heat map, etc. Now let's start. I'm going to use for this visualization again our data set that we have previously used, the file detection, because we need some decimal numbers. You know what the dataset is already. Now I'm going to use only the first three columns. So with ilog calling all rows and first three columns selected after the dot. So I'm taking this stream, and now I'm gonna go with import plotly and the graph object for calling it in the graph object as go objects. This graph object can help us run an HTML full component. So I'm creating here the HTML figure with go.figure. And now I'm gonna add a surface to it. So I'm adding a trace. Now I'm adding the heat map. So I'm adding a heat map where I have values of Z. I'm gonna take ds from here, the values into a list. And the color scale should be this. Now, if we take a look just of the heat map, you can see that this heat map is only dictionary collecting of Z, the values that we have, and the color scale, the values of the color scale. With calling the figure into a trace, and this will add as HTML component into the figure that we have here added with the trace. Now, we need to update the plot sizing. So I'm going to go with update the layout of the figure. Now we're going to go with 800 height, 900 and outer size to be false. At default is true, so we are making it false for getting the 800 on 900 plot. Now I'm adding some margins. The margins are a dictionary where we have top margins, bottom margins, left margins on 0, and right margins on 1. Why I need the top margins to be shifted for 100 pixels? Because at the top we are gonna add the buttons. So now I'm gonna add now the 3D scene option. So update scenes, and add here aspect ratio of. With this, I'm adding 3 dimensions on x1, y1, and z 0.7. Let's say it can be also, if you want, at the beginning 1. You can try with different values. And the aspect mode should be manually selected. Now I'm gonna go just show. Let's show the figure now. As you can see, we are having now the heat map collected in Z, X, and Y here with a given color scale. What we want to add is at the bottom to add um, some buttons. So because of that, I'm gonna go again with figure update layout and add here update minus and get one dictionary of the buttons. This is a list connected of dictionaries. So let's start with the first one. We're having as arguments the color scale and the what color scale do we have now as default is the Virdis, okay, and as label is the default one that we already see. Next, the method is to restyle the plot that we have. Now I'm gonna add the second button. The second button would be again for color scaling. Now this, and here the label will be the same and the method restyle. Now again, adding a color scale, for example, the blue color range to appear, and the last one should be greens. For example, you can go with reds, etc. If you want, I'm gonna just 3 of them. This is this is for one button, so we are having only one button here. The type is buttons. You will have type for each of these. We will have a given button. So these 4 will be each one button with a given name, color scale, and you can click on it. So the type is buttons. Direction should be on the right, let's say. You can change it. Right. Then we can make some padding. That means that we can add margin. So on the right for 10 and on the top shifted for 10 pixels. Now show the active button on true. And the next is to have x to be 0.5, the x value here where to be placed, and y should be, for example, we are gonna go here with a smaller number, and here the height of the button layer that we have. So for example, we have 1.12, and let's take a look now of our, I have some error. Let's take a look. Arguments, label, method. Now this is a list, so the list is open here and closed here. Now here at the beginning you have to select your color scale at the beginning of this top note. Also, what we can add is to add X anchor and to be, for example, left, so to start on the left, and epsilon anchor to be on the top to start at the top. Now, it wouldn't be any, so it's shifted a little bit, so here we can add some label, a text. Now we will go with the second buttons. The next one that we have, let me take a look. Yes. We will have here applied the next buttons. So now again, we're having the second dictionary of the new buttons. So again, buttons. We have a list of given dictionaries that are buttons. Now, dictionary called argument for the buttons, a river scale we want. River scale. At the beginning, it's on false. The label is false. So if you want to make inverse scaling, then you need to click on the next. This will be restyle as method, and one more button for labels. I will have here reverse scale on. Here we don't need firstly as reverse scale on true as a value, and here true. What's the difference? So here we have the color scale blue, what will be given as argument to the plot. Here we have reverse scale on false, what will be given as a value for reverse scale in the plot, and the label of the button at the end, the method that will be used in the heat map that we have right here. For all the buttons is the same. Now I'm gonna go with the same functionalities right here appending. What we have, type buttons correct, the direction correct. I will want to start here as next stop, so I will change the epsilon values that we have. I will change them to be upper maybe, and we can so when we have here, here is 1.12, and a little bit lower we go with a number that's smaller. Let's take a look now. Here it is. So we have false and true. The next one is for the lines we want to add. So now if you click on false, is this one, on true is the reverse one. So the color scale is starting from dark till blue, from dark blue till yellow, and in true from yellow till dark blue, or maybe purple even. As you can see here, it's not at the same top value. I'm gonna just shift a little bit, for example, so we can take a look. Is this okay? Shifting. No, I need to go one for example 0.13 here, and the anchor is left. Here is top. This is okay. Now let's take a look. It's on the left. So if we want to make the same, here we need to go for one more decimal on the right. Okay, this is quite good. Now, the next one is for the contours. Here you can show lines for how the contours go through the instances. So I'm going to create one more dictionary for new buttons. So buttons, as we said, we have a list of the buttons appearing. All the buttons are in one dictionary. So the arguments that we have now, it's the contours show lines at the beginning. They are false. So this is given as style as a style on the heat map. Because of that, I'm adding it to a dictionary. And for type, we have contour. In this way, it's a bar plot, as you can see, a heat map like a bar. These are the arguments, and now the label will be show lines. The method is again restyle the heat map. Okay, the second model, the second button will be contour show lines on true. This will be hide lines, sorry. On true show lines contour. This is the same. Now, again, the type of the buttons is the same one. But I'm gonna go here to be placed somewhere over here to be placed the values. So 0.5. What's the error? Let's take a look on the following code. So this ends right here, the buttons. We have update layout ending here. Okay, that's good. The weather properties in areas that may be special, a restyle real. Okay, because this is a style, not a method heat map. It's a restyle. Why I added heat map? Because maybe I talked about that. So here we have the hide lines and fail through. Now I'm gonna shift this to the left so we can have more space for adding text. Here it is. I'm having more text here to add more space to add some text. Now for the text part, I'm gonna go here with a figure again update for the text part of the layout. I'm adding annotations. So I'm adding texts in a list, each text a dictionary. So I'm having text, color scale. It should be X starting from here, it's 0. References, paper, Y references, also paper. On Y, the same as here, 1.12. Let's see. Align, I want to align on the left side. So align on the left to be the text left. It's like writing down an HTML component just in Python. Show arrow on false. So let's take a look. Just a second. Yes, I'm in Y-ref. Now color scale is here. We want it to be right here. So I'm gonna go with Y 1.1 and it will come here, X 0.2, let's say. Now it passed by. It passed under the buttons. So here is the color scale. This is quite good. So I will leave this like that. Now a new color scale for the um, this was for our reverse color scale. So reverse, I'm gonna add a new line with the air tag color scale. Now X the same here, Y just a little bit under. The other is the same. While compiling, I'm adding a new one dictionary. So here it is. This is quite okay. At the end, we have the lines. I'm gonna adjust lines and shift to the right. So 0.5, let's say, Y the same. Let's and this is not a line on the left. We don't need now because it's in the middle of the plot. It's 245, let's say. 47, and here a little bit lower, so it will be 45, for example. Okay, now it's quite good. What we see at the beginning as bar all the heat maps appearing. Now if I take true, reverse scale and false, if I go hide lines and show lines, now something has stopped. Let's run again. Here it is. So here is change the style of the heat map. As we can see, green, blues, save virus. And now with hide lines, the lines are hide. Again, it stopped working. Wait a second. Let's rerun it. It's having maybe too much. It's having too much buttons, or my internet is quite slow right now, and it's not so interactive, and it takes too much time to save and reload. Now should show the plot. Now, as you can see, the code finished, and we can have show lines, greens, blues, through and reverse, hide lines, back to the contouring part. So